Hey, welcome to another edition of The Rundown with Ramon. Here talking to Sara Nay. Sara, thanks for being here today, who is the head of Duct Tape Marketing. Sara, we went back and forth on that. What is your title? Again, Sara, and again, welcome. Glad to see the announcement from John Jantz, founder of Duct Tape Marketing, and you are now leading that organization. But please rescue me from my fumble just now. What's your full title, and what was this announcement about, Sara? Welcome to The
Of
Rundown with
course,
Ramon.
yeah. Thanks for having me on. So we just announced that I've been functioning as the COO at Duct Tape Marketing for quite some time now, and now I'm transitioning into the role of CEO. And then John, who's our founder, he's been in the CEO seat for 30 years now, about. And so he's transitioning into what he's calling himself. He created his own title, which is Chief Innovation Officer. So he's going to get us in a lot of trouble moving forward, innovating ideas and creativity, which will be really exciting to see what he does there.
I love that, Sara. For those who don't know, the few who don't know, what I was looking at my shelf to see if I have a copy. What is duct tape marketing, and to that matter, referral engine, and all the things that John Jantz, your father, has
Yep.
taught billions of people for so many years. But unpack for those who may not know, duct tape marketing, that ecosystem. What has been built? Unpack that
Yep.
for us.
Of course. So John, as you mentioned, he's my father, has written seven different books. His first one was Duct Tape Marketing as a book, and he's written Referral Engine, The Ultimate Marketing Engine, a number of books over the years. But what we've been doing for the past 30 years is we work in the small business space. That's always been our people. And we have two sides of our business. And so we're more of a traditional fractional CMO agency on one side of our business. So we come in to clients, we create an overall marketing strategy, and then we essentially orchestrate the strategy to get it done by using our team or their internal team. So that's one side of our business. About 16 or so years ago, we started certifying other marketing coaches, consultants, agencies in our approach. And so we have a certification program where they essentially can go through and they can use our system, tool, and framework to become fractional CMO agencies, essentially. But in all of that work and in both sides of our business, we've always been strategy before tactics, and we always think about marketing in a systematic way that can scale. So that's kind of our foundation across both of the products that we serve.
I love that. And how is it? You already said it just now, strategy first, but how is duct tape marketing different? And again, we'll talk about those two halves. And then I want to dive into you and the transition and what that's like. I
Yeah,
have two children, so it's interesting. I
nice.
kind of span the middle of any room I'm in. Do I go play Xbox with the kids or do I go
Yeah.
hang with the adults? So, it's an interesting
I
world for
love
me.
it.
Indeed. But talk about those two worlds. What's the client who you work with who duct tape marketing touches directly? Hey, we need help with X.
Yeah.
Talk about that, and then just recap again the client who's like, we're our own agency. We want to be
Yep.
under the duct tape umbrella or licensee. Feel free to break those down further for us. Give us a for
Yep.
example.
Of course, yeah. So on the side of our business where we're more of an agency, when we're working directly with small businesses, we're typically working with businesses in like the $3 to $10 million revenue range in a span of industries that are really like they've grown steadily, but they're looking for bigger growth over the next few years. And so we come in and we create an overall strategy, but where we're different than other marketing agencies out there is we're a fractional CMO agency. And so when you work with us, your engagement would be led by a fractional CMO, and that person is tasked with either leading an internal team that's already in place by that company, or we have our own internal team of marketers. And so we basically are able to build out a full marketing department for a small business based on a strategy and led by a senior marketer. So that's a lot of how we're different. And we've been preaching, as I said, strategy before tactics for a long time. We've been doing that for 30 years. And so we've really nailed the strategy to be able to understand a business strategy to then create a marketing strategy and then to actually execute with purpose versus random acts of marketing, which a lot of small businesses struggle with. And so that's the agency side of our business. And then people who join the certification program, as I mentioned, they're typically marketing consultants, maybe fractional CMOs already, small agencies that really want to come in and learn our framework for strategy and learn our framework for retainers, and be able to position themselves as a fractional CMO agency themselves.
I love that. But let me push back on something, Sara. I mean, I get the strategy. Duct tape
Yeah.
marketing has been around for the last 400 years. But have you heard of TikTok, Sara? Have you heard of Snapchat? I mean, what if I just want Sara and her team of people to come in and do short form video? That's all the rage. Why didn't you mention that, Sara? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, we do get people asking us for specific tactical elements like the examples you shared, and my answer is always yes, we can do that after we do strategy and we
I love
understand
it.
if that is even a channel to work on. Because a lot of, strategy has different terms, different ways to think about it. For us, strategy is understanding your target market, understanding what message resonates with them, going to work on your customer journey. So we have a concept at Duct Tape Marketing called the hourglass. So how can people get to know, like, trust, try, buy, repeat, refer? And then we'll look at, okay, what's your content strategy based on that? And then we'll say, okay, here's the execution calendar. And so we need to go through all of that research and auditing and interviewing ideal clients and understanding competitors to be able to make recommendations to then determine if short form video even makes sense
Mm.
for the business that we're supporting. And so whenever people are coming to me for tactics, I'll say yes, but we got to take a step back first before we even get to that tactic.
I love that. I love that. Everybody, listen, if you're hearing the sound of my voice, watching this video, you're definitely looking for an amazing agency, company, community to help your business. You've already heard what Sarah talked about. Ducttapemarketing.com, I guess is probably the
Yep,
best.
that's it. Yep.
Ducttapemarketing.com. Check out their organization. If you're a consultant or a marketer wanting to be under the umbrella and learn the strategies of duct tape marketing, definitely see them for that. Sarah, I want to turn the page and just talk a little bit about the transition and things. I'm so excited about it. Me and John Jantz, the founder of Duct Tape Marketing, are friends, professional friends for a long time, serving
Yeah.
on stages together. So it's a personal interest to me. And let's just riff a bit. I mean, how did that start? John could have closed the company down, sold it to somebody else, gave it to your brother or sister or cousin JoJo. Just
Yeah.
go wherever you want to take this. Like, how did that unpack? How did that happen? Was it like, no, Ramon, we've been working on this for 7 years and we knew it, or is it like, yesterday I woke up with a cup of hot
He just
chocolate. I was like,
announced
yeah,
it.
yeah, John, I'll take it. Talk to us about that. Give us the story.
Yeah, so I started working with him 14 years ago. I just celebrated my 14th anniversary at Duct Tape Marketing this last week, actually. So I started working with him 14 years ago out of college. I was a psychology major, didn't really know what path I wanted to go down next. And so I started as a part-time intern. I think I was serving tables back then as well, on the side.
Yeah.
And it just has gone really, really well over the years. I moved from like intern to community manager, and then I was managing a number of our clients, and then I moved into sales, and then I moved into operations, and now I'm in the CEO seat today. So I've really worked in a lot of the different areas of our business. So I've learned what we need in each of those roles, which has ultimately made me a better manager, I think, to the people that are in those roles today. So, with me taking over in the CEO seat, that's something that's been in the back of our minds for a long time.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been until the recent, I would say, the last 2 or 3 years that we started to work towards that. Because I know that semi-retirement and one day retirement has been on his mind for a little while. And
Yeah.
so it actually means a lot to me as his daughter to be able to step into the seat as CEO. And it's been a lifetime passion for him and a passion for me for the last 14 or so years. And so it means a lot to me as his daughter to let him, he's taking Mondays and Fridays off, and he's going to work a lot more part-time, and he's going to travel with my mom. And so it's been really great to be able to support him in that next move as well.
Yeah, and that's how life should be. Myself being 52 years old, having
Yeah.
two adult children, I totally I empathize with the journey. Me and my wife married 30 years. We travel and she's going through some health issues now, but I get the ethos of what you're saying. I grasp that totally. When your
Yeah.
kids are older, you want them to go off and do their lives, whatever that means. And by the way, my son has worked with me and has fired me. My daughter has worked with me and has fired me. So trust me, we can flip this interview anytime you're ready. Um, what would you say that Dad John did
Yeah.
right to have you to want to be here and work with him? This could have been a roller coaster of horror. You guys could
Yeah.
have been totally agnostic, and there are many families like this. I haven't been the best father, in my life. I mean, by God's grace, we're fine now, but things I could have
Yeah.
done right or better, whatever. Can you get whatever, however personal you can get? What did John do right to say, you know what? I want to work with my dad, not just the founder of Duct Tape Marketing, and or if you don't mind, what are some things maybe, hey, he could have done this better and he worked on this, or that Sarah needed to work on. Can you talk about
Yeah.
that a bit?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I think what drew me originally, like obviously duct tape marketing has been a part of my most of my life at this point because he's
It
been doing
fed
it for
you.
so long. Yeah, it fed me. It sent me to college.
Yeah.
So I saw his passion in the work that he does. Like still today, he's incredibly passionate about the work that he does. He loves serving the small business community. It lights him up. He's naturally curious. Like he loves, and so that drew me. Like if he can be that passionate about work, like not
Mm,
everyone has that in their work. And so that's what initially I think attracted it to me. And then in terms of like working together, him and I are very similar. Like if you're, we took the disc profile recently and we were like the same, the same results. And so we're very similar in how we work. Like we both have a lot of ideas and we like to move very fast.
Mm,
And so it's been fun working together, but also it's helped me. Like I've had to develop much more of an operations mindset of him having these big ideas, and then how can I complement that because he already has that, and then how can I, okay, say if this is the idea, how do we turn this into a system? How do we operate? Like how do we move forward on this? And so I moved into more of like I would say like the integrator role,
mm,
where he was the visionary and
mhm.
I was like taking his ideas and bringing them to life, and we complemented each other really, really well in those two different roles. And so now, like where I'm growing into and where I've been growing over the last few years is now more into this visionary role because that's what I need as the CEO, but I still have that operations background and experience. So it's been really, really good. We've had a great relationship. You know, I've called him John, you know, for
Sure.
14 years. I call him Dad
Yep.
as well at home and all that stuff. But we've had a good working relationship. There's been a lot of trust between us.
Mm,
And then one of the things I'm grateful with him is he's given me like freedom to make my own decisions and choices and learn on my own versus always telling me what to do, which has led to my growth a lot over the years. I can't tell you how many times like I'll go to him with something and he's like, "Did you Google it?" And now it's probably, "Have you used AI to explore this?" That has always been, you know, his response, but it's a good response now that I can appreciate it. It was annoying sometimes in the moment, but
mhm.
it's a good response because it taught me to always be learning and growing.
I love that. Are there things, and whether it's metaphorical or real life, but things like you said, hey, you know what, John, I think we should take the roof off the building and move it here, try it. Or he'd say, no, that one, nah, we're not going to do that. Silly example. I shouldn't say that, like if you said, hey, these 20 staff members, they should work out of the Austin office, where he said, no, that's a hard no. Sorry, Sarah, love you, but
Yeah,
can't happen. Or was it pretty much everything saying learn from it? Or, and I can hear Dave Ramsey in my voice. He said in the
yeah.
podcast, we don't want to make fatal errors, but let your employees grow. I
The
think
great
that's the
impression.
essence of what I'm trying to ask. Can you talk about, if you understand what I'm trying to get to, the fatal error
Yeah.
versus not? Please talk about that a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. So for the most part, you know, I've obviously if it was a bad idea and he didn't think it was going to work, he would probably give me that direction and insight. But I like to think, you know, for the last few years, he's been helping me elevate and be more of a strategic thinker and make
Mhm.
decisions on my own.
Mhm.
And so he's let me make those choices when I have an idea. Usually we pursue it if I'm really passionate and think it's a good idea. So he's been supportive along the way. And I actually asked him something on Slack. Someone on my team asked me a question, and I pinged him, and he said his response the other day was, "Maybe you should ask the CEO." And so
He's
now that
going
I'm in this
all
seat,
in.
yeah,
But
now
you
that
know,
I'm
Sarah,
in this seat, yeah,
that
it's good.
shows
It's supportive.
incredible trust in you. And I can just, again, I don't know you, Sarah, but I can feel, Sarah, your strength and smartness and just so much in you. I can just feel it. So I can see he feels very safe, clearly, with you. Meaning your daughter, but meaning as a CEO,
Yeah,
I meant of Duct Tape
yeah.
Marketing. So,
Thank you.
for sure. No, you're welcome for sure. Sarah, one thing that's a challenge for many companies is going to the second, third, fourth generation. We're not even on fifth generation. We just started second generation with you leading it. What are the things that you think? And again, who knows what tomorrow will be? We don't know. We don't know what's coming 2 years from now. But as you're sitting here right now and you have 14 years of history, what are some things that you're saying, hey, Ramon, I got to do this right for me to take this baby to the next 15 years or 10 years? Can you just talk about that? And again, thank you for letting me ask 75 questions in one breath. Or what would you say, speaking uplifting John, things that he may say himself, hey, here's what I know we have to do maybe different, or what I'm going to try to do better, maybe the wrong word. I'm saying it honorably, with
Yeah,
your bringing to the table. Talk about that. The next generation.
yeah. Yeah, of course. So we already are collaborating and thinking about 2025 and what we're going to focus on. And he's not going anywhere. Like he's still going to stay involved in
Yes.
more of the visionary strategic planning side of things. And so right now, what we're both like dead set on is we're talking about shifting our focus to more of like marketing leadership as a service is what we're
Mm,
calling it. With everything that's advancing in AI right now, like from a marketing standpoint, especially we're seeing that hopefully, or maybe in the near future, companies aren't going to need full marketing departments
Mhm.
in-house. Like they're going to be able to be a little bit more nimble using different AI tools, but they still need the strategic leadership side of things. And so we're really focused on building out a new offering for 2025 where it's going to be marketing leadership as a service. We'll come in, we'll create your strategy like we've always done, but then we'll analyze a lot of your marketing operations and team, and we'll say, okay, how can we up level your existing team
Mhm.
by taking some of the repetitive tasks off of their plate by bringing in AI? And how can we get them to be more strategic thinkers from there? And so we think that's where marketing is going. And so that's a really big focus and a lot of what we're discussing right now to then bring to life next year, which I'm excited about.
I love that. And do you have another about 10 more minutes, or give or take, or
Yep.
hours?
Hours.
Which one do you say you have to, hours or 10 minutes? No, we'll wrap up in a bit here, but thank you. I always ask
Okay.
that. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember what we had scheduled. Can you talk about your reporting? You've operated as the integrator COO. Now you're CEO. Of course, the visionary is still there.
Yep.
But do you have? Look, I guess my question: what are some things you don't have to do? Like, for example, Sarah, if I go to Duct Tape Marketing right now, put my credit card in, and I buy a $10,000, $100,000 thingamajiggy, do you not have to know about it? Not know about it? Other people handle it? And or what things, hey, Ramon, no, I'm still day to day doing X, or nope, this team
Yeah.
can do this. Can you just help us understand what Sarah is not doing or what you
Yep.
are doing now that you're CEO?
Yeah, so there was a long time that I was very involved in client work.
Yeah.
So John was very involved, and then I replaced him, and I was very involved. And now we're at a point where we have three fractional CMOs on our internal
Right.
team, and so I'm still involved in like the sales process
Mm-hmm.
for our long-term engagements. But then after we move into strategy, then a client works directly with our fractional CMOs and our account managers, and I've been able to step out of consulting now at this point, which has been really, really beneficial. On the certification side of things, I also help with the sales process there. And then I lead some of the certification training. So it's always been, we do certification trainings every month. It's always been John and I co presenting on that. The last two sessions, we've brought in two of our fractional CMOs. So it's myself, Lisa, and Cassia presenting on that. So a lot of my role now in this CEO seat is it's podcasting, it's speaking, it's training, it's making connections, it's doing a lot of that stuff. But I still am involved in some sales and operations on our side of business too.
I love that. What about the face of duct tape marketing? Will we see in the coming years? Like, are you an overt? I think it's, yeah, overt person. Like, hey, look at me, Sarah. I'm going fishing. Look at me. I'm doing that. Look at my I'm doing. I think woodworking, other things John does.
Yeah.
But meaning, will we see? Will you start to do that for the? And again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but hear me out here. Will you start to do that for the benefit of duct tape marketing? Because I do think personal brands are important. Or maybe like Chick-fil-A or Popeyes, we'll see John Jansen's face and name for the next 100 years, and we might not
Forever.
even know Sarah's name. If you had to guess or play with me a bit, and as we're teaching others, that's the main question. What would you say? How do you think it'll be in 10 years, 5 years, or tomorrow? I don't know.
Yeah, so he still is planning on staying the face of the brand right now,
Sure.
but we are going to start making that transition even as soon as next year, where he's been podcasting since 2005, I
Yeah.
think is when he originally started, and so he's had the Duct Tape Marketing podcast for that long. We're going to start sprinkling in where I do an episode here or there next
Nice.
year, and so people start to see more of me.
Yeah.
I'm also doing more podcasting and I'm doing more speaking on stages as well, and so that's kind of the world that I'm transitioning into. And so for a while, I can see it being I'm building up more of that personal brand for
Mm-hmm.
myself to
Mm-hmm.
represent Duct Tape Marketing. He'll stay involved, but over time, hopefully you'll see more
Yeah.
more of me around.
Got it. So if it's like Oprah Winfrey, John is going, there's no question. But if it's the Idaho Marketing Summit, Sarah will
Yeah.
take that for now.
Yep.
And
Yep. I'll take that.
I love it, Sarah. Anything I haven't asked you, Sarah? I just wanted to have this conversation really with you and uplift duct tape marketing, uplift John, what he's built, and really meet you and share with my audience. You all have impacted me and the times I've been able to spend with John. So that was my goal, and I feel so happy to do this already. But anything you wanted to share, and I think I didn't ask you that you wanted to share with the Zone of Genius Ramon Ray audience.
No, I mean, I appreciate you having me on. I'm deep in a book right now. I'm a book nerd, so I'd like to shout out some books that I'm reading. I can't remember the author, but AI leader is what it's called. AI-driven leadership, I believe is what it's called. And it's an incredible book. I'm like about halfway through, and it's really like we've dove into AI, we've dove into the technology, we're all in on it. But this has been a really great book for me to talk about like mindset around AI. And so if you're listening to this, I think it's going to be an important piece of the world moving forward. It's not going away. But I'd recommend diving into that book just to get your mindset around the whole topic of AI.
I love that.
AI driven leader. That's what it
AI
is.
driven leader. I
I
know.
knew I could
Thank
get
you.
there at some point if I kept talking.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Sara Nay, one more time, give us your full name, title, who you work for, one more time, please.
Sara Nay, I'm the CEO at Duct Tape Marketing. You can find us at ducttapemarketing.com, or if you go to dtm.world/growth, we have a bunch of free resources, whether you're a small business or a marketing consultant, coach, agency. So go and check out some of those free resources.
And say that resource one more time. That was good. One more time.
It's dtm.world/growth.
I love it. Sara Nay, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. My name is Ramon Ray on the Rundown with Ramon. As I search for
Thanks
the
for having
stop
me.
button, you're welcome. And you all are seeing me do this every time, scrolling around, looking. There we go. Thank you for listening to the Rundown with Ramon.